Hello everyone, Gigahertz here, and we're doing a Delicate Hand series on Recount. Now, for most people, when they get Recount, they turn it on, and they only have it because someone's like, you don't know what your DPS is, you noob, get Recount, duh, or SCADA or whatever. We're doing Recount for now, we'll do SCADA later. And they get it, and they're like, okay, what's this? They just kind of grab it, like, oh, it moves. Alright, let's put it over here, I guess. Let's put it there. Okay, yeah, that looks nice. All right, and then they go attack something, and they're like, ta-da, I'm gonna attack. And now they're like, oh wait, like that's not really useful. Like, what? Like, what are my numbers? That's so okay. I'll make it bigger. Well, that's not helping. All right, so what do I do? Okay, what's this? Like, report. That's not no. What am I say? Okay, I'm talking about stuff, and you can't see it because my chatter isn't on. But I'm like, oh, look at my damage. You're like, what's this? It's like a settings. That's what I want. All right, so window scale. Let's just make that bigger. Like, yeah, is that gonna help me? Well, no, that's not really helping. It's just making it bigger, but I'm not bigger. Oh, row height. There it is. All right, so row height makes it bigger. There you go. So now I can see my name and what I did, and I'm awesome, and like, oh, look at the cool damage I do. And now I'm like, I'm done. All right, now everything's set up now. All right, so I'm doing stuff, doing things. Look at how great I am. I'm gonna toss my super ridiculousness stuff out, and I'm gonna do this, and maybe I'll do a living bomb. Cause I'm not like like a total noob. I know that I probably have to keep that up. Oh, brain freeze, bam! Oh, I'm so good. Jump, jump, jump. All right, so there you go. And I'm like, that's my numbers for this fight. And then I go fight something else, and I don't change anything. And I'm like, oh, like here, I'm doing this different fight over here, and those are my numbers for this fight. Wait, no, that's not right, because it's got this fight and that fight. So how do I do one fight or the other fight? Well, on this little page thing, you can do the overall data for your current fight. So I'm like, oh, just the current fight. That's all I care about at the moment. Like if I'm fighting a mob, I want to know what happens in that mob fight. And if I'm fighting something else, I want to know what's happening in the other fight. I don't want it all to go together unless I specifically want to look at it later. But for now, just the current fight. That's all I really care about. What's going on right now when it's happening. So that's one thing. And appearance. Maybe I want to change the way things look. So my font selection, alright? How does that look? Alright, let's go with bold. Ooh, doesn't really change very much. Some of them obviously won't have the alt keys, like the alt characters. So you'll have to not use those ones. Arial, narrow, blah 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 blah. So all those things. Okay? So let's go with 2002. And of course your bar. You can change the way it looks. Armory or aluminium. Minimalist, whatever. Banto bar looks nice. I like that. Color. This is one where people can actually do a lot of things. Obviously, I wouldn't reset these colors because they coincide with the nameplate colors that we talked about earlier. So I wouldn't change them because it's nice to constantly be reminded that a paladin is pink, a shaman is dark blue, a warlock is purple, blah blah blah. Now, these ones, however, you can change, and so if you just click on title, you could change the title to blue, because I'm a mage, and I want the mage to be blue, so I want it to be my color. So that's really cool. Or if you want it to not exist at all, or be darker, or whatever, that's how you make it darker. I want it just black, because I'm brooding and emo. I want it black. I want everything black. You can do that. You also can make it disappear completely. All right, which some people might do, might not do. I mean, if you wanted to, you could do it, and then you could actually grab that now and go to the window section, and then you could stop it. You could pick it up. Here you go, pick it up and put it over here. So that way, now it will just show information for who's doing what, and it won't show anything else. So if you didn't really care about reporting or anything else, or you knew how to use /recount config or whatever in your macros, and you didn't need to see that bar, you could do that. But that doesn't necessarily really have to do it this way. I mean, if you wanted, you could still have that red. It doesn't really make a difference. So same thing with the background. Let's say you don't like that gray background. You want a different color background, and you want to up the actual saturation of like the color itself. So if you wanted like a blue background for your blue mage, or if you didn't want a background at all, you could just gone. So now you have something you can move around, but you can see totally through it. So it's very minimalist. And if you put it up here like this, and then let's say lock the window, well now even those disappear. So now you've got your DPS up there, and it never will interfere with any other information, like or what else you're doing in the game. So that's what you can do. Now, if when you're all done with all this stuff, you don't like what you've done and you want to go back to the beginning, most UIs have ways you can just do that. You just hit reset colors and boom, like here you are, you're back, and you haven't done anything that you can't undo. So you should definitely feel free to play with things as much as possible, knowing that when you're all done, you can just kind of go back. Like, that's the way it works. Now, the one thing that I do myself is I use this right here. I keep only boss segments. So that way, trash fights or whatever, when they first happen, I can see them and that's cool or whatever. But when I'm DPSing in PvE, I really only care about boss segments that I want to keep. And so that's down here. Like right now, I'm fighting the training dummy, blah blah blah. But if I like later on want to look back and I'm like dealing with trash, the trash will sort of disappear, and I'll only be keeping boss segments so I can look back during a raid and say, okay, when I was fighting this boss, this is what I got. And it gives you less stuff that you have to like worry about. The last thing that I do is I have this is really cool, the DPS window, which I'm not 100% sure why it won't just start right now, but that's an easy thing to fix. We'll turn on chat and hit reload. Ta-da! Okay, so we're back, and I figured out what was going on, and we fixed it. So I've actually created a macro, and I'm going to show you that right now. This macro is this is the first one, which is just a recount toggle macro, and what that's going to do is as I click it, recount turns on and off. And then this other one is going to bring up a real-time DPS graph, and it's just /recount real-time and DPS. And when I hit that one, it's going to bring up a graph in this area where the macros are. So if I hit that one, here's my graph one, boom. Now I have a real-time raid DPS graph that's going to show up above my current thing. So if I hit, let's reset all the data right now. And if I'm attacking this targeting dummy, and I tell my pet to attack it, what it's going to do now is when it attacks, it's going to show the information as it happens. So I have a number that's going to eventually start showing here. Should be showing now. I'll just toss that up there. Come on. Show my damage. Show my damage. There it is. Alright, so here I have real-time damage coming off of me and coming off of my pet at the same time. And you can see the ticks of my living bomb, which as they're stacking up, that was the explosion up there. And it'll show you like just what type of damage comes out of a living bomb all by itself. And then here's your pet's damage all by itself. There's a little crit that your pet hit, and there's another like high crit. But for the most part, the pet's going to do about, I think, 9,800 DPS all by himself. So it gives you an idea of like situation. Like if let's say all I have is my pet, and I can only spam ice lances. Like how much damage am I going to put out in that situation, like real time, like DPS, like as I'm running around like, oh god, like I'm being attacked by lots of stuff, like what do I do? Or if you're gonna like boom, like toss that up there, and like whatever, like things you're gonna do on the run, like oh I can toss like a mirror image down or something like while I'm moving, Anyways, so this is gonna show you real-time information, what's happening in the moment, and it'll give you an idea of like just how big your burst is. So like right now, this is the damage that's been going on this entire time. Well, that's because most of the time our little minion has been doing a lot of damage, not us. But if I want to, let's say, see what my burst is, and I turn on my living bomb and I mirror image, and then I toss up my ridiculous stuff. Now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, now I'm doing like 100, 150 like DPS, like that's That's 150k like burst right there. That just happened. So in a PvP situation, it's like, okay, I need to hit this. I need to hit it for a few seconds, you know, and then I can do some serious damage. That was not a full macro, actually. I don't think that was my full burst. That was just a frozen orb. That didn't even count, you know, my trinket or icy veins or anything like that. So that gives you an idea of like, all right, if I burst and I don't have my trinket or icy veins, how much damage am I going to do? So that's really cool. Definitely use the raid DPS graph, and then you can just click off of it when you're done, and you can toggle that on and off, or you can toss that back on. Very cool stuff that you can do with Recount, and just things to give you an idea of how you can adjust the way things look instead of just grabbing Recount and just chucking it over there. Like, you can actually change it, make little tweaks to it, and yeah. So that was the Recount video, and if you have any more questions, you want to see something else, I'll talk about it like probably just to you, not to anyone else. That's pretty. This Recount video is pretty in depth, I think. And the next video we'll do some more cool little add-on things. So yeah, have a nice day, and I will see you again soon.